Jenny awoke the following morning with the serene composure of a woman in a luxury perfume advert. Golden sunlight poured through the curtains, casting the entire bedroom in a soft airbrush glow. The world outside was a painting, lush, immaculate, and utterly devoid of public transport or litter. For a fleeting moment she half expected a harpist to appear by the window. This was her world now, a realm she had wished for. No emails, no influencers flogging protein powder, and no reminders that she was 2 squats away from a better bum. This was a place of grace and refinement, and by God she was going to own it. With the delicate precision of a ballet dancer, she slipped out of bed and made her way to the vanity. She then selected the most elegant dress she could find, a flowing ivory gown with lace trim that practically sighed with sophistication. Her makeup was flawless, a feline flick of eyeliner, and lips in the perfect shade of English rose. Her hair tumbled in soft gleaming waves, so glossy it could have starred in its own shampoo commercial. Satisfied, she descended the staircase, with the poise as if she was arriving at her first ball. James was sprawled on the pristine white sofa. He looked considerably less refined. His hair stuck up at comical angles, and his face bore the distinct imprint of a throw cushion. Jenny knelt beside him and pressed a gentle kiss on his temple. His eyes fluttered open, blinking groggily, as if she was some kind of mystical being conjured by a hangover. "Morning, darling," she purred sweetly. James squinted. "Are you feeling better? You gave us all quite the fright." His voice, though warm, still carried clipped precision. "Oh yes, much better," she beamed, as though she hadn't just rewritten history. "I'll fetch the children." As James shuffled off to prepare for work, Jenny floated into the kitchen and prepared breakfast. The eggs sizzled in the pan, golden and sunny. When Kathy arrived, she swept into the kitchen with her usual air of poised superiority, her designer handbag swinging lightly at her wrist. The moment she laid eyes on Jenny, she paused, her immaculate arched eyebrow lifting ever so slightly. "Good heavens," Kathy breathed. "What a difference a day makes. I presume you shan't be requiring me to do the school run." Jenny's eyes sparkled mischievously. "Oh, let's do it together. Go fetch Lewis." Kathy blinked. "Lewis? Who is Lewis?" Jenny's breath caught. "Oh, bugger." Her brain performed a clumsy somersault, but she quickly recovered, flashing a breezy smile. "Oh, never mind," she said airily, as though Lewis was simply the name of a particularly forgettable waiter. But inwardly her chest tightened. Of course, in the other world Kathy had a son named Lewis, a cheeky boy with bright eyes and an obsession with dinosaurs, but here Lewis did not exist. Jenny's stomach clenched as she remembered why. In her old world, Kathy had fought tooth and nail for Lewis. She had sold her car to afford a final round of IVF. Jenny recalled holding her friend's hand through the agonising wait for the test results and the tears of joy when it was finally positive. But here, no IVF, no Lewis. Her hand still slightly over the lunchboxes. How many children had she erased? "What are you preparing for Mark tonight? I was thinking chicken for James." Kathy's lip twitched with amusement. "Beef stew." As Jenny packed the children's fruit into uniform artful slices, she half listened to Kathy drone on about browning the meat just so. But her mind spiralled. Millions of children never born because of me. The thought made her queasy. She longed for her phone to fact-check, to Google who had pioneered IVF, but she had no luxury. Snapping out of it, she called brightly, "Bye, James. Come along, darlings. Auntie Kath and I are walking you to school." She scanned the hallway for her favourite flip-flops, but all she found were dainty, elegant heels. With a sigh, she slipped them on. Outside, she trotted along the cobblestones like a newborn deer on stilts. As they strolled through the neighbourhood, Jenny marvelled at the oppressive perfection. The wives, draped in pastels, kissed their husbands goodbye with grace. Their children were impossibly clean and bright-eyed, as though they'd been polished before leaving the house. But then they passed a house with otherwise pristine landscape. Tina's home was a disgraceful eyesore. The shutters hung at a crooked angle, the garden was a riot of weeds, and the paint was peeling like old sunburn. It looked like a house that owed money. And then, like a dishevelled banshee, Tina herself stumbled onto the pavement. Her 3 wild boys ran feral circles around her, screaming like banshees on a sugar high. Her hair stuck to her face in greasy clumps, and she wore her husband's trousers rolled up at the ankles. "Morning, love," Jenny called out brightly, still on autopilot. Kathy's eyes widened in alarm, and she jabbed Jenny sharply in the ribs. "We do not speak to her," Kathy hissed. Jenny blinked. "Why ever not?" Kathy leaned in. "That's Tina, utterly mad. All she does is read, doesn't cook, doesn't clean. She's been locked up thrice, once for dressing as a boy to sneak into university, and she's convinced she's discovered cures for diseases. She's a raving lunatic, and her husband is—" Kathy's eyes narrowed. "You know, gay." But Jenny wasn't listening. Her eyes were fixed on Tina. "They laughed at me," Tina skriked. "But I'm telling you, it works. The radiation shrinks the tumours. It works." Jenny's blood ran cold. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Wait, you don't have radiation therapy here?" Kathy gave a hollow laugh. "Oh, very funny, Jenny. Now come on, don't make eye contact or she'll go on about radiation for hours." But Jenny wasn't laughing. Her breath hitched. Oh God, no IVF, no radiation therapy. How many people had she killed? She'd erased Marie Curie. Cancer patients without hope, countless lives lost. The weight of it made her feel faint. Her legs suddenly unsteady in her ridiculous heels. And then she saw him. Tina's husband stepped outside, and Jenny froze. Her breath caught in her throat. She knew him. Her eyes widened as she placed him. The diver, the man from the ship. Her voice cracked slightly. "I know where I know him from," she blurted out. Kathy's eyes narrowed. "What?" "Tina's husband. He was diving near the ship where I was. We spoke that morning, I remember." Kathy let out a brittle laugh. "Jenny, still a little unwell. Sunstroke, you know, a bit muddled. Come on now, Jenny." One of the wives passing by smirked. "Is that why you're walking like you've poo-pooed yourself?" Other wives within earshot sniggered. Jenny's lips curled into a sweet, deadly smile. "Oh yes, several times. Would you care to look?" And with that she made a theatrical attempt to lift her dress. Kathy grabbed her arm. "Jenny!" she hissed. The women recoiled, aghast, and hurried away. Jenny knew she'd be the subject of gossip by noon. On the way home from school, still walking like a deer on ice, Jenny turned to Kathy. "What's wrong with being gay?" she asked. "Don't tell me you get locked up for that too." "No," Kathy said, "but it's illegal to be gay in the military." Jenny sighed, frustrated. If only she had a phone. She could Google who fought for gay men and women to serve in the military. But in the back of her mind, she knew it was a woman. A woman she had killed. Great. Jenny's voice was low with urgency. "I need to speak with Tina's husband. Can we stop by and ask when he'll be home? I need to know if he saw anything that day at the beach, or if anything unusual has happened to him since." Kathy recoiled as though Jenny suggested they share a needle. She drew herself up stiffly, her eyes narrowing with scandalous horror. "Good Lord, no. If anyone so much as sees you there, you'll be tarred with the same brush, especially after your appalling behaviour today. And to be seen speaking to another man, alone? Are you quite mad?" She fixed Jenny with a look of disbelief. "Do you wish to see both yourself and James dragged before the courts? You'll be imprisoned for criminal conversation." Jenny stared at her momentarily, stunned by the severity of the warning. She could feel Kathy's mounting frustration, the clipped tone, the slight tremor in her voice. Jenny offered a smile, attempting to sound light-hearted. "This realm is so different," she said softly. "I suppose I just need to get used to it." Kathy didn't dignify the remark with a response. With a brisk shake of her head, she changed the subject. "Right," she announced crisply. "I have lots to do at home. Are you coming to ladies' night this evening?" Jenny exhaled, sensing the truce offering and accepting it. She flashed a smile. "Yes, of course I'll come, and I promise to behave," she added. Kathy's eyes narrowed slightly, but the corner of her mouth twitched with the faintest glimmer of amusement. With a small knowing smile, she arched the perfectly groomed brow. "The bus is collecting us at 7, she said. "Don't be late."